Welcome to Rising Parent, your go-to podcast for building stronger families. I'm your host, Tim, and Edna and I are here to help you nurture your family's unique bond. In this episode, our guest speakers, Lynn and David, will dive deep into our notes on the heart of family life, exploring the power of connection, communication, and quality time. Together, we'll share practical tips and strategies to create a loving and supportive home environment. So grab a cup of tea and let's embark on this journey to foster your child's social well-being.
Hey everyone, I bet you're here because you care about family, like really building those strong bonds. And sometimes, let's be honest, it can feel like a challenge.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're all so busy.
Right. So we thought we'd bring in some expert advice. We reached out to Edna and Tim, who, are like total gurus on this stuff.
Totally. And they had so much good stuff to share about building strong families.
Like their guide is packed with practical tips. So today we're doing a deep dive into their wisdom, ready to pull out those golden nuggets that you can use like right away.
Exactly. Because who doesn't want a happier, more connected home?
Okay, so let's jump right in. One thing that really stood out to me was how much Edna and Tim emphasize quality time.
Yeah, quality over quantity, right. It's not just about being in the same room. It's about those moments of genuine connection.
So true. Okay, break that down for me. What does that actually look like when you're like living real life with kids?
They're big on dedicated one-on-one time with each child. And not just any activity, but something that speaks to that child's unique interests.
I love that. Like if your kid's all about dinosaurs, skip the art museum and head to the natural history museum, right?
Exactly. It's about making them feel seen and understood. Like when someone's genuinely interested in your passions, it makes you feel valued,
Oh, totally. It's like you're speaking their love language, but through activities.
Right. And this also ties into their advice on tech-free zones, creating spaces and times where devices are off limits.
That's so important. I mean, let's be real. How present are we when we're glued to our phones?
Right. We're all guilty of it. But by putting down our phones, we're giving our kids a gift.
Yeah.
Our full, undivided attention.
Such a good point. It's like we're saying, you matter more than this screen.
Exactly. Okay, now let's talk about something Edna and Tim call family time, those shared experiences and rituals.
Okay, like family dinners. I have to admit, sometimes getting everyone at the table feels like a battle. Is it really worth the effort?
Oh, it definitely can be. Studies show that kids who have regular family dinners actually tend to do better academically.
Really? That's interesting. I never made that connection.
Yeah, it's like a consistent space to chat about their day, get help with schoolwork, And get this, studies have also linked family dinners to a decrease in risky behaviors in teenagers.
Wow. Okay. I'm sold. It's more than just the food, right?
Totally. It's that sense of belonging and open communication.
It all makes sense. And it reminds me, what did Edna and Tim say about family traditions? Besides dinners, of course.
They're all about traditions, even simple ones, They believe those are like the threads that weave a family story.
So true. Like those little rituals become these inside jokes, these memories that you all share.
Exactly. Sunday morning pancakes, Friday night board games, whatever it is, the key is consistency.
Makes it something everyone looks forward to. All right, we've covered quality time, family time. Now what about communication?
Edna and Tim are huge advocates for open and honest communication. One of their top tips. Open-ended questions.
So instead of, how's your day? Which, let's be honest, usually gets a fine or a shrug.
Exactly. Try something like, what was the most interesting thing you learned today? Or, what made you laugh today?
Ooh, I like those. It gets them thinking, sharing more than just a one-word answer.
Right. But what about younger kids? They don't always have the words.
Right, so how do you really connect with them?
That's where nonverbal communication comes in. A hug, holding their hand, just a gentle touch can speak volumes.
It shows you're there for them, no matter what they're feeling. Which reminds me, even when kids can talk about their feelings, it's so important to validate those feelings without jumping into problem-solving mode, right?
Oh, absolutely. Validating their emotions doesn't mean you agree with them, but it shows respect.
It's like saying, I see you, I hear you, and your feelings matter.
And that helps kids learn to process their emotions in a healthy way.
This reminds me of this time my son was building a block tower, and it totally collapsed. He was devastated, and I immediately started rebuilding it for him.
Oh, I've been there.
But looking back, I realized I totally missed the opportunity to just acknowledge his frustration. Let him work through it, you know?
We all do that sometimes. But that's where emotional intelligence comes in. Edna and Tim are big on that.
So we're not just teaching kids to manage their emotions, but we're modeling healthy emotional expression ourselves.
Exactly. Because our kids are watching us. They learn by example.
So if I'm snapping at everyone when I'm stressed, that's the lesson they're learning. But if I take a deep breath, label my feelings, talk about how I'm coping.
You're showing them a healthier way to deal with those tough emotions. Powerful stuff, right?
Super powerful. And it all ties into building trust, which is Edna and Tim's final piece of advice. They emphasize consistency and reliability, especially when it comes to promises.
Even small ones, like, I promise I'll read you a story before bed.
Right. It might seem insignificant to us, but to a kid, it shows your word means something.
And the flip side is being honest with your kids, even when it's tough.
That could be tricky. How much do you share without oversharing?
Right. You have to be mindful of their emotional capacity. You don't have to spill all the details, but you can be honest. Like, work has been stressful lately, and sometimes it makes me feel grumpy, but I'm working on it, and I still love you very much.
That's a perfect example. Honest, but not overwhelming.
Yeah.
And sometimes it means admitting our own mistakes.
Oh, for sure. It's so important to model that for our kids. We mess up too, you know?
It teaches them humility, accountability, forgiveness even.
Absolutely.
Wow. Edna and Tim have given us so much to think about.
They really have.
Okay, to wrap up, it seems like the keys to building strong family bonds are being present, creating those shared experiences, communicating openly and honestly, and just modeling healthy emotional expression.
I think you nailed it.
And if there's one thing to take away from this whole conversation, it's that even small, consistent efforts can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Think about one little change you can make this week. It doesn't have to be grand. Just a step in the right direction.
I love that. Even small changes add up over time. Okay, if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe. We'll be back next week to tackle another topic that matters to you.
And that's a wrap. We hope this episode has inspired you to strengthen your family bonds and create lasting memories. Remember, every moment spent together is an opportunity to build a stronger, more loving family. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more expert advice and to help us continue providing valuable content to support you on your parenting journey. Until next time, happy family bonding.